Thomas and Percy are best friends. They tell each other everything. They even have a best friend's whistle. It was a busy day at the quarry. Thomas and Percy were working together. Together, Thomas and Percy happily tooted their best friend's whistle. Then Neville arrived to collect some freight cars. He was excited. Percy was excited. The two engines tooted their best friend's whistle, and Percy puffed happily away. Later, Sir Topham had arrived. He was in a hurry. Thomas was worried. He knew Percy wanted to pick up the brass band, but he didn't know how to tell Percy that Sir Topham had asked him to do it. Then Thomas saw Percy puffing back to the quarry. Thomas didn't know what to say. He didn't want to upset his best friend. This made Thomas feel even worse. He puffed quickly away. Percy tooted his best friend's whistle, but Thomas couldn't toot back. Thomas was enjoying his washdown. Then he saw Percy in the distance. Thomas still didn't know how to tell Percy about the special, so he hid. Percy puffed past. He didn't see Thomas. Thomas was relieved. He jumped out of the shed. He raced away to collect Annie and Clarabelle. Then Thomas saw Percy again. Thought Thomas. So he took a different track to the docks. Thomas knew it would take him longer. He thought to himself. Later, Thomas was steaming along. He was sure Percy was going to see him this time, so Thomas hid behind Duck. Percy puffed past. He didn't see Thomas hiding behind Duck's long line of freight cars. Duck looked puzzled. Thomas steamed onto the docks as fast as his pistons would pump. Thomas was late for the brass band. They were waiting on the dockside. Then he saw some mail cars. He knew Percy would soon come to collect them. The band hurried, but the trumpet player had left his trumpet behind, right at the end of the dockside, so Thomas had to wait. Just then, Percy arrived. Percy saw that Thomas was collecting the brass band. He was very upset. Thomas felt terrible. He tooted his best friend's whistle. But Percy didn't whistle back. Thomas felt worse than ever. He puffed out of the docks with the brass band. Thomas arrived at Great Waterton. Sir Topham Hatt was waiting to welcome the brass band. Thomas still felt very unhappy. He had let his best friend down. Then an idea flew into Thomas's funnel. Sir Topham Hatt agreed. So Annie and Clarabelle were uncoupled, and Thomas steamed off to find his best friend. Now Thomas really wanted to find Percy, but Percy was nowhere to be found. Thomas was worried. The concert would finish soon, and the band would be waiting. Then Thomas saw Percy. He was waiting at a signal. Percy beamed from buffer to buffer. He was very excited. Thomas buffered up to Percy's mail cars, and quickly pulled away. He was pleased to help his best friend. Percy steamed off to pick up Annie and Clarabelle. He couldn't wait to collect the brass band. Later, Thomas puffed into Great Waterton. Percy was waiting for the band. And they tooted their best friend's whistle for everyone to hear.